piece of souvenirs since I was known as a work of art and an original living doll. I made monuments modeled after myself, like a Colette lamp, Colette sculpture. These are also models for big monuments. A Colette vase where you could put flowers actually in it. These are all ideas from the 70s that Olympia resurrected
Right. Oh,
for the
wow.
House of Olympia.
What a great view through your whole place.
Okay, now, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, well, of course, with all this stuff here. What are all these pieces?
Oh, this images that I showed at the Kim Foster Gallery last May in New York.
Okay.
And the exhibition was called Poses. So it was images of myself, the exhibition focused on photography.
Right.
And it showed the development of the work, since retrieving my history is one of the big rules of the House of Olympia. It was, the main theme was retrieving my history and me in poses in many environments, starting with the very early 70s, where I was liberty leading the people. I would take things from themes from art history, like the wake of Madame Récamier, then also from the transformation of the Sleeping Gypsy, 1973 at Stefanati Gallery. Real Dream, or the Dream series, the Bed series. This is a detail from the clock tower room where I slept naked. And a lot of the times, most of the time, these rooms had audios to go with them, with my voices. This is a very early work, and it was a scandal at the time, was Ragdoll for Rizzoli's fashion, art and fantasy in the late 70s.
Why was it a scandal?
Because at that time, well, first of all, women, I told you, were supposed to look like men to be taken seriously, and I was exposing my breast
Yeah,
and
you
wearing...
were not looking like a man there. No, looking like a man.
Yeah, really, and I was wearing undergarments,
Right.
you know, like for example, here, I was wearing undergarments as clothing.
Right.
You know, here specifically.
Yeah.
This
Wow,
is
and that's what they're doing now. 20 years later,
well,
they're
this is-
picking up on what you did in the 70s.
Well,
That's
yeah.
takes them a while to catch up to Colette, I guess.
I guess so. And, okay, so this is Camille. When I became a little more known, I did an installation called Camille with audience at the Museum of Modern Art.
Right.
This was also a scandal at the Paris Biennale. It was called Les Fous qui vont devenir les classiques. Here you see I have the dress cut out fragments. You know, now you see a lot of these ripped and torn clothing in my costumes and ruche clothing. And this was called Les Fous qui vont devenir les classiques. Meant it was in a cover magazine, which meant the crazy ones who will become the classics.
Right.
Funny enough.
It is. Hilarious.
This was a clearance sale in the late 70s, you know.
Right, you even have the tags on it. Huh?
Right, and I was selling objects, and it was like a store where I had records, clothing for sale, all pieces of my life, and of course I was priceless.
Right. no price on that.
Oh, now here we have Marat at PS1, in memory of Ophelia in Berlin, where I laid naked in this room with audios from Hamlet's soliloquy.
Okay.
Femme Fatale, which I did. Oh, I did a very early one. I was painting the streets before the graffiti artist, and this was Femme Fatale. Where for the opening, I had the box on the street, and people could look from the window of myself in this box. This is from PS1, Marat, and me as Marat. This was in Philadelphia. I forgot. Oh, I think it was Justine Special Products. This was me as an interior designer, so it shows interior designs I would do. Oh, Madonna and Child in Bunko Gallery, Brescia, 1978. Again, you know, you have the corsets, the exposed breasts. And then The Last Stitch, where I died and became Justine at the Whitney Museum. This was the birth of Justine and
Death of Colette.
Death of Colette, 1978. I reconstructed a part of my environment and died stapling instead of the legendary Sleeping Beauty with the needle. The staple gun was my needle. So there's a lot of things, and I would take forever. Like this one is also in the late 70s. Clearance sale. I did a series of exhibitions where I would sell my life or my objects, and this was in a gallery, a prestigious gallery in Paris, 77. And early 80s, 1980, I believe, 81, 82, I don't remember exactly. I joined the La Rocca Modeling Agency, which was one of the first agencies that showed art that had models that were not typical models, which is also something very popular now. And that's me as a blonde with my whooshed costumes, and I dressed up all the models.
Great.
And became a model myself. This was the birth of me as a Lavaca model, and I made a performance out of it. This is another image of my environment in 1982, and me as a figure from outer space in a costume, all the costumes I would design, and these were made like metallic material. At the beginning, there were softer fabrics, as you can see, and a lot of tulle. And later, in the early 80s, Justine took on a more metallic approach, more space age kind of image.
Right.
Any more questions? No. I know you're going to ask.
Yeah.
About her.
What's this? What is it? Is this
well,
you
this
or?
is Olympia.
Yes.
Oh, this is another thing. As I always put myself in the environments in the 70s and then photograph myself, in the 80s I would spend a lot of time in Germany, and I would create these environments, and most of the time I would not perform live. The performances had a different nature. And in the 90s, I put the mannequin as the performer. I would make an environment, and the mannequin would replace me in the tableau vivants. But I would continue to perform, but my performances were more like appearances or apparitions. They were quick, more like hit and run.
Right. Wow.
So this one, my poor Olympia, I think she needs a little cleaning up, but she didn't expect it this morning. Oh, by the way, she has a diploma because Olympia is mature by now.
Right.
3 decades of art. She also has the key.
Wow, the key, it's
The
very
key
important
is the
one.
symbol now
Yeah.
for Olympia.
Right.
Well, before it had been different things.
We were blessed with a key. It's
Now
in
we
our
have
studio.